Yeah, we are in the place to be.
Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, June 22nd, 2021. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. Quick programming note, this Thursday, it was supposed to be last Thursday, but it got moved till this Thursday. I'll be right back here on Facebook for our monthly Politically Speaking show with Adam Jarko and Patty Schochner. The show will air live here on our Facebook page at 8:30 on Thursday morning. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm outstanding.
Well, there you go.
I mean,
Then
yeah.
why are you?
You're just good. I'm outstanding.
Yeah, I'm only good today.
Yeah.
I'm usually a lot better, but
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, so obviously we'll be getting to some of that because you, had an injury.
No.
And I even texted you yesterday and asked, so you want to take another week off? We have 5 Tuesdays this month. We do 3, so we have an extra Tuesday we can take off. If you need to recover, you're like, well, I'll do it. But
for the people, man. I gotta stay strong for the people.
yeah, Fitzy's coming in at about 50% health, or about 80%, which is still better than a lot of people. Just saying.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
So
why are you outstanding?
I just feel amazing today. I don't know why. Some days you just wake up and the alarm's like, ugh. And some days you're just bing, ready to go.
Right.
And I woke up that way today. I just feel great.
Well, you can go home and do a lot of chores tonight.
Oh, thanks a lot. Now my wife, when she watches it tonight, she's going to ask me, so what'd you get done today?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
It's Amazon Prime Day today.
Yeah, yesterday too.
Yeah, so that's my question. This is, I think, the first time they've done 2 days. I kind of feel like they should either have it one day or change the name. I mean, it's not like you wake up and go, hey, it's Christmas Day, and then the next day, it's Christmas Day again. Like, change the name. It can't be Amazon Prime Day if there's 2 days.
You're right. We should probably file a complaint.
Complaint.
What do we do that to?
It's also Lightning Awareness Day.
Oh, yeah, it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, was it yesterday? I thought it was today. I got the presser yesterday.
I think it's week. I think they call it week. Maybe we should have Amazon Prime Week.
See, now that'd be fun. Like lightning, I didn't even put that one up, the lightning awareness one. I'm like, come on, really? They always give like tips.
Watch out for lightning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we should start our own. Every show we should have an awareness day, like Freezer Awareness Day.
Freezer awareness.
Yeah, there you go. Check your and don't put things in the freezer you don't want frozen. Yeah, because usually the tips are like, duh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm way off here. All right, you ready for your trivia question for today? Our sports trivia question, which we do at the beginning of every one of our shows.
Right.
I didn't write down where you were. I think you were 4 out of 11 or 4 out of 15. I can't remember. It's not going super great for you.
No, I need to come back here.
Yeah, and I think I've got something for you that you'll be able, if you don't know the answer, you should be able to figure it out.
Right, okay.
And I'm even going to put it on the screen, but I did this like 10 minutes ago, so I've already noticed like spelling errors and stuff, so just bear with me. Where is it here? There we go. So today's trivia question is, it's baseball. An immaculate inning in baseball refers to A, a pitcher walks 3 straight batters on 12 pitches. B, a pitcher allows 3 straight home runs on 3 pitches. C, a pitcher records 3 outs on 3 pitches. Or D, a pitcher strikes out 3 batters on 9 pitches, it looks like.
Ooh.
Something like that. Well, I'll give you take a second to think about that. But first, you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. Their goal is to help remove barriers so people can access resources, education, and services to increase financial security. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. Fitzy, what do you have here? Do you want to? I can give you a little hint if you don't. I got one hint for you.
Okay, what's the hint?
Unless you already know it.
No, well, I don't think I know it, but I'm gonna I'm taking a guess. I was
Oh.
hoping someone online would help, but no
Well,
one
that's why I
helped
put
yet.
it up this time. So hopefully, if anybody knows the answer or wants to take a guess, but I can tell you this. So there is about. Hold on, let me take that off for just a second here. There is. I think there's about 225,000 games that have been played in baseball. Now, this is
Okay.
obviously for each half inning. So multiply that by 18, and you're looking at about 4 million opportunities for this to happen.
Okay.
Now, of those 4 million, just earlier this month, only the 95th pitcher ever did this. So that shows you
gotta
how
be C.
rare it is.
C.
A pitcher records 3 outs on 3 pitches. That is
Yep.
incorrect.
Oh,
It's actually D.
that's what I was
Pitcher
gonna go.
strikes out 3 batters on the minimum number of pitches. So, yeah. Yep, and
Wouldn't
Taylor
it be
got it right.
better
See, now they're all coming
outs
in.
on 3 pitches? 3 outs and 3 pitches?
Yeah. So it's not C.
It's D. I meant D. That's what
Yep.
I meant.
Well, then you got it right.
See,
All right.
Taylor was helping me, but just a little slow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We want to get into this from Kirk Anderson, of course. Glad you're well. Jody was okay. Yep. Taylor was accurate.
Yeah.
All right. So as usual, we go through any press releases or anything that has or articles that we have done. I looked back and I have a couple here. Obviously, the one I want to really talk to you about was the situation that you were injured. But the first one was it was actually from Rusk County, but Barron is involved and other counties. The headline was "Suspect in Custody for Allegedly Being Responsible for Over 25 Burglaries in the Area." Obviously, that was a Rusk County press release, but since Barron is involved, and it's obviously an ongoing investigation, but what can you tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you that our detectives were involved in that with the Rusk County detectives, and I think even some of, I believe Washburn and maybe Polk, but for sure Washburn is involved in this also. This guy just did a lot of burglaries, a lot of ice shack burglaries that he's confessed to or talked about or somehow, and then he was charged. And so, yes, I don't think a lot of the stuff has been returned because it's probably been sold, but and I don't know the reason behind it, if it was meth or if it was just stealing it to get money for something else or what. But most of our burglaries that happen in the county are meth related. And so obviously meth is still the number one drug that we have around. But glad he was caught. Our detectives did a great job with that. And like I said, our detective's been over in Rusk County working with Rusk County a lot on that. So it would just another day of catching somebody. And there's not a press release yet. You'll see some Facebook posts very shortly. We've had a lot of car burglaries or car thefts, some subjects stealing from cars, and we have some video that we got to put up later today. So one, lock your car at night. A lot of places like bigger cities have this 9 p.m. routine where at 9 p.m. you go make sure your garage door is shut, your car is locked. It's called the 9 p.m. routine. And we've never done it here because we're more a rural setting. But I think we should probably start that. These people about 4 in the morning on Saturday went out and went through a bunch of cars, and we have some videos from Ring doorbells or whatever it is, or different cameras at people's houses. Our patrol is out there working right now to look for more video. And we need to figure out who these guys are. They stole out of some cars just outside of Rice Lake into the county's jurisdiction. So we're working on that, but I don't know who these guys are, but somebody must know them, and I think we've got some pretty good video of them, and so we'll post that very shortly, hopefully this morning. And but we've got to get back out there, and so that's not a press release you have seen yet, but we'll put something out there that says, do you know these people? And they're innocent until proven guilty. Unless you put it on your own Facebook, and then you can do whatever you want.
Exactly. Right. You don't have to say alleged when it's on your own page. That's fine. Right. So that 9 p.m. thing, when I was a kid, I think they still did it when I was really, really young, but I remember this commercial, or I think it was on the radio, and maybe it was just my mom telling me, I'm misremembering it, but they used to do like it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are, or something like that? And that reminds me of that it's sometimes you have to just stop a second and go, wait a minute. All right, my car's locked, the garage door closed. That's not really a bad idea.
No, it's not. It's and I've never brought it here because it was, it's more of a city setting rather than a rural setting. But it's a good reminder. I mean, this was all in the county, at least 4 or 5 that I know of right now, and even some garages were entered. So that would be considered a burglary if they took anything. So we're working on that, and you'll see some video, and hopefully somebody out there will share it. I know it'll get shared with our Facebook partners out there. That's where, again, Facebook comes in so helpful in law enforcement's is this video. When we share it, when we put up great posts, and you probably maybe didn't see it, but we had a crash on, and we didn't do a press release on it. But
I saw that.
yeah, I didn't do that. My sergeant put that post
That was
up
good.
there with the vice grips on the tire. People are, I don't know.
Yeah. No, but I mean, we talk about that a lot about Facebook and the comments, stuff like that. But we've also talked about don't bite the hand that feeds you. It does serve still a valuable purpose, and it's really just more about some of the comments that sometimes get a little off track. I think I know Rice Lake Police Department does a great job. I mean, every time they're always posting, help us identify and help us identify. It's why wouldn't you do that now, right? You got a whole bunch of people. They're like mini detectives. I mean, I think it's a good idea. Obviously, you don't want to get too carried away with it. And obviously, there's always liability issues there and accusing someone. But that's why I always put in innocent until proven guilty. We're just looking for these people. But yeah, Rice Lake, I think, does a great job. Barron County Sheriff's Office does a great job. The Burnett County Facebook page, she does Sheriff Finch does a great job posting things, positive things, and also looking for assistance and help things. But yeah, like why not utilize that stuff? Like you can control the whole message at the same time, right? Like you're your own media outlet.
Right. If we can control the comments, I mean, it gets old sometimes where you're like, I'm just going to take Facebook, and the sheriff's department's not going to have Facebook. Well, that's not just because someone says something bad. You know what? That's just life. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I would have shut down Drydenwire years ago if that was the case.
Right. Well, and we just can't make everyone happy, and we try. To really do that, to try to please everyone we can, and that can get overwhelming sometimes, and that's a lesson I learned, but it's a good reminder that we can't make everyone happy, and we keep trying, and they just need to watch Positive Tuesday and just smile more.
Right. Oh, that's what we're Positive Tuesday Awareness Day today.
Yeah, it's Positive Tuesday Awareness Day. Be positive every Tuesday.
We'll make a flag and see if governor will fly it at the Capitol. I don't know.
That's right. All
right, so the second one, which is obviously the one I want to spend a little more time on, is the headline was Sheriff Fitzgerald injured in pursuit of fleeing suspect in custody. I was going to sleep about 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's my normal bedtime, and my phone started just blowing up, like Facebook messages and texts, and is Fitzy okay? And it's what is going on? People were saying, well, I don't know, he might be dead. Dead? Like, what just happened? And like, no, he was hit by a car and he has a broken leg, and ambulance. What? So I think I ended up texting you and just saying, are you okay? And you're like, yep, fine. I'll be probably able to talk more in the morning because obviously you're, hurting. So that next morning, we had a chat, and then I just ran a story. Then you put up a press release later on. But can you walk us through from your perspective, so not the investigation part, just what happened?
Well, my story or
your story, right? your point of view through
I
your
was
filter.
Way closer to catching them than the story predicts.
Okay. Nice.
So I was going to Aquafest. It was the Thursday night of Aquafest, about 8:30ish p.m. at night. And as I got dressed and was going to go down to Aquafest and just talk to people and hang out. I mean, that's the best part of the Aquafest, is just seeing people you haven't seen forever. So Rice Lake PD was on a call just on the north end of Rice Lake, looking for a subject that was fleeing, that had a warrant, and he had ran or done something. So I said, well, I'll go down there and see if they're setting a perimeter or something, I'll see if I can see him running through the woods or something, So I went down there and just got out of my car down on the north end, and my deputy said that he was trying to stop a car that was driving erratically on 19th Street, which is the Walmart road, the road right near Walmart.
The one that goes north and south?
Correct.
Okay.
So it would go all the way to like Don Johnson Motors and that road there. So that 19th Street. And at the same time, we got a traffic complaint about this car swerving all over the road. And he says, well, I'm behind the car. I'm going to stop it. He goes to attempt to stop the car. The car stops by Walmart. Now we're right near Walmart on Highway O, which is the Menards Road. So it goes all the way
Got
down to
it.
the mall. He stops there, and the deputy gets out of the car. As he's walking up to the car takes off and doesn't stop. Long story short,
Well, no,
he
don't do
ends up,
that. We want the long story. Skipping. He's arrested. I was in the hospital. Done.
yeah, skipping. I'm in a sling.
Right.
So, just because the case is active and
Okay.
we have to be somewhat careful with it. There's a chase that ensues. He ends up turning down a couple roads in Race Lake. I don't know exactly what roads. He loses a tire, so he's only on 3 tires at one point during this. I don't know if it's on his rim or the tire falls off. I don't know what this whole story of that is.
Okay.
But he ends up going by the Dollar General in Race Lake, which is on Main Street at Main and Sawyer. He's cutting through some alleys there, and I'm coming down Allen Street, which is the road that Marketplace is on. And I turn to make sure that he doesn't go towards Main Street, because I really don't want him to go towards Main Street, because that's Rocco Fest is. And so we're trying to get this guy to go outside of town, but he's not going as fast anymore because he's only on 3 tires.
Sure.
So he's coming straight at me. I'm going south. He's coming north, but he can't turn his car to get around me because he's only got 3 tires. So he jumps out of his car and takes off running.
Wait,
It's moving car.
I was going to say, moving?
Yeah, it's moving still. So he jumps this little curb with this car, and then he jumps out and takes off running. So I thought, well, I can catch him. I've chased bad guys before.
Yeah, I played basketball in college, man. I can totally take this.
Right. That's right. So I hit park, and I take off running after him and get about 40 yards from my squad and lose traction in the grass or trip on something. I don't exactly know. So I do this fancy cop move, kind of like a somersault. I go forward and I jam my elbow, but it's okay. It doesn't really hurt. And I come back up and I'm kind of on my feet. I'm like, well, that was pretty cool. I hope somebody got that on video. And then I take one more step and down I go.
Oh,
My hamstring was done. And I had injured my hamstring and I fractured my elbow and I lay there. So I waved the one cop by. I'm like, I'll be fine. I didn't know what happened to me at that time. I just knew that my leg hurt really bad. And like, I had never broke anything in my life. I've never been injured in 25 years of law enforcement. So this was new, but I thought, well, just go catch the bad guy. Don't worry about me. And, but the guy's car's still rolling at me. It's going really slow because it's in the dirt. And some guys from American Excelsior come running out and say, what can we do to help? I'm like, stop that car.
wait, hold on a second. So you went about 40 yards away. The guy had jumped out. The suspect did of the moving car. So you must have been running. Okay, I'm trying to picture it in my mind's eye.
North. He was running more north, and I was running more north.
Okay, so now are you on the road? If the car's heading towards you, how is the car heading towards you if you're not on the road?
He had jumped the curb, and so the car was still in drive and still going forward, but going really slow.
Sure.
And so the car's rolling, and these guys come out to help me and check on me, and I'm fine, although I'm not. Right. I think I am, but I'm like, I'll be fine. It's just a cramp or something. I don't know what it was, but I think I'll be fine. And they stop the car. I kind of roll out of the way to make sure it doesn't roll me over. I get why someone texted you and said it looked like I got hit by a car, because I'm laying right by this car.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The car is really close to me, laying on. So if you're driving by, which of course everybody did because there was cops everywhere.
Sure.
It probably looked like I got hit by a car, which I understand that. So I'm right next to this car, and these guys come out and help me. These people bring me some water, and about 5 minutes later, there's enough cops in the area. My sergeant comes to check on me, and he says, "What do you need?" And I'm like, "I need an ambulance because I can't get up right now." So I couldn't. I thought it was just something, and like I said, never injured my hamstring or anything like that, but it was a hamstring injury mid tear, and I have a fracture to my elbow. Everything will heal. I'll be fine. And we got we got the bad guy. He was caught, running around the building. Rice Lake PD caught him, and so that's the story. I really wasn't as close as I wanted to be to him, and thank God he was only 29. And
Yeah.
I thought I was 29 again, but I wasn't.
Yeah. I got on a bike not long ago. And, when I was a kid, I used to skateboard, roller skate, play all sports. I mean, easy. I got on a bike and I made it like 20 feet. And I'm like, I'm scared. Like, I don't want to go down the road because it's been a while since I've been on anything with wheels other than, my vehicle. So what did you learn? What was your takeaway?
What did I learn? Well, one, I don't like the guy that everyone depends on is down, and I don't like that. And it was a mental game for injury. So I couldn't walk for 3 days because my hamstring hurt so bad. I'm limping right now. I'm in a sling for probably the rest of this week, and it'll all heal without any surgeries. But what did I learn is it's a mental game when you get injured, and I had never been injured, so it was a good lesson for me as an administrator to know that when my people get hurt, and we haven't had a lot of on-duty injuries, knock on wood, where somebody's been on a long time. We've had some off-duty injuries where people have been off a long time, but it affects you the same way, I would assume. It's just you can't go to work, you can't do this, you got to have people help you do things. I make decisions. I do things. I help people. And when you can't do that, it's a mental game. When you can't, this camera that I used for this was used in a meeting. Well, it was way on the other side of the building. Well, it had taken me 15 minutes to go get the camera back because I'm limp, but I'm getting better. I'm going to physical therapy, and they're making me better. And I'm not 29 anymore, and
Yeah. Yeah, there's younger. You got other people for that, but at the same time, what else? If you had to do it over again, obviously, if you didn't know you're going to get hurt, you'd have done the same thing, right? This is a suspect, and I'm trying to protect the citizens and arrest the alleged bad guys, and what else? With the exception of you getting out your gun, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to run after the person. Right. So, would there be anything that you do differently? If you didn't know that you were, going to get hurt like this. I don't know. Do you look back and go, boy, you know what I should have done?
Well, I could have stayed in my car and maybe drove ahead of him a little bit more and then jumped out. But you don't know which way he's going to go. So it's easier to make that correction on foot. And if, he's going towards the building, is he going to jump between the buildings, And so, could you, but there isn't a cop in Barron County, any law enforcement officer that's not going to go chase that guy.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And
that's how you're wired, right? It's like firefighters. Well, they there's a fire and everyone runs away. And there's some people that they run towards the fire. It's like, they're just wired that way.
Firefighters have to do it. And if people need help, that's what our goal is. No matter if you're the boss or not, it doesn't matter. I enjoy being a cop and I enjoy law enforcement. And so, but it's tough when when people depend on you and you can't be depended on, and it's just, I couldn't make any decisions that night because I was in so much pain. I had never been in that much pain, and it's people have been injured way worse than I am, so I'm not complaining one bit. I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna be fine. I'm starting to be able to stretch my arm. I can walk a little bit faster, but it's black and blue, and it's my elbow I never broke a bone in my body, and so. So it's different, and the well-wishers are perfect, are wonderful. I've gotten cards in the mail, I've gotten Facebook notes. It's just, but we've always said that's support the law. Whether it was me or if it was Deputy X or Officer X, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
That you guys support us, and that's what's the best part about being a cop in Northwest Wisconsin. Yeah. Because what happens. So the bad guy's out of jail already, out on bond. I understand he might be in some more trouble already, doing something else. But
Bridget brought up a real good question here. Will a bad guy get charges for your injury? Because so obviously when you arrest someone, that's not what they're charged with. Sometimes law enforcement, I don't believe Barron County, but other ones every once in a while, I don't know why we arrested this person and they're charged with this. Well, you're actually not the one charging them. You're the one arresting them. District Attorney's Office is the one that decides what charges they are. But I even asked you that following morning, when I was talking to you so I could put a story together. There was a booking report, a booking photo with the charges that were on there. and I can't remember what it is on the top of my head, but it was injury to an officer. I can't remember how that's
And that,
worded. And I remember asking you that, wait, so, but that person never like touched you
right.
or assaulted you specifically. I didn't realize that that person could be held accountable for that or potentially charged with it. And I haven't looked. I don't know if the district attorney's office have charged that or not. So can you go into that a little bit? Because I was very surprised by that, and Bridget brought up that question.
So it's a good question, and I learned something through this. Is one, because I was outside of my squad car, there is a fleeing an officer causing injury, and so you can be injured, but it has to be while you're in your car. So actually, we arrested the person for that charge, along with fleeing and bond violations and OWI and whatever the other charges were. And then ultimately, they didn't charge the causing injury because I was outside of my squad car. So under that part of the law, you have to be in your squad car in the chase. You can't be on foot. Now, there's another charge that they may add later on that's resisting arrest causing injury, which is what he was doing. He resisted arrest. Because when we run after somebody, we like, hey, stop, police, stop, you're under arrest, stop or I'll tase you, all that stuff. We yell, and those are signals that you have to stop. And so they will probably add a charge later on. So he wasn't charged with my injuries at this time, but I think he will be down the road.
Sure.
But yes, they can be charged with anything that happens to an officer or deputy during the course of
a pursuit or chasing. Because you would never have run after the person had they not done what they had done.
Correct, exactly. So his actions caused an injury, whether it's an injury to our, whether it's damage to our squad car, whether it's an injury to an officer. But if he were to crash into me and I would have gotten hurt, then it would have been fleeing causing injury, and that part of the statute works. So I actually thought it was a continuation because the chase happened, and it just happened that he jumped out and we caught him, 50 yards away. But no, once you leave your car, the injury, as long as it wasn't there.
I did not know that.
Either did I. I didn't know that I thought the continuation of the crime would work, and it doesn't. I talked to DA Wright. I understand why he didn't charge it. He was like, that's what DA's office do. They make the correct charges so that the charges stick, and
that's right.
He'll add a charge later on, and like I said, so I couldn't work last week. Workman's comp put me out. I mean, you're still the sheriff. Workman's comp kind of doesn't apply, but I was able to answer phone calls and do a few.
Except that one.
Yeah, except this one. I got to figure this out. Now my cell phone will go off, and so.
We can mute you if you need to.
No, we can do this call live.
I mean, we can mute it so you could do it, and unless there's lip readers out there, so
they'll be fine. I don't know who it was. So other than that, it's I'll be fine. I'll heal. Like I said, there's cops that have been injured way more than me, and I'll just limp through it. It's just I've never been at this slow pace, and my mind's not quite there yet that I got to go at this slow pace, because if I tweak my leg wrong, I can't sit very long. I need to stand up. And
sleeping must be rough.
No, actually, it hasn't been. I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been too bad. So,
do you think this is a kind of an off thing here, but the last time that you weren't able to go to work was when you were in quarantine, COVID, for I think it was 10 days, wasn't it, or something?
10 days.
So you were locked up in the house. And I know we had talked about it. Actually, I think we even did a live show with you in your room still. You couldn't go out. It was awesome. Thank you again for that. That was so cool. But that you were talking, and if I recall, we even talked then about the mental part of it, because you didn't have any of these horrible symptoms, or it was just, man, going crazy, like just sitting in here. Did that in a weird way kind of, I don't know, to help you a little bit more this time around, because I'm used to not being able to now. Not used to, but I've gone through something similar to this where I wasn't able to go to work and be directly or face to face with people.
Right. No, it definitely helps you out and does that. So,
okay.
And so it's definitely a mental game again. Yeah. And it's not embarrassing, because I was just out doing my job. But it's I'm not out of shape or anything. Well, I'm not saying I'm a track star still,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I ran track, I ran hurdles, and never got injured. But it's just you feel like you let your team down when you get hurt and you're chasing a guy and you want to catch him, and
Yeah.
we all want to catch all the bad guys. That's all our cops want to do is catch the bad guys. If
Yeah.
there's a bad guy out there, we want to catch him. It's hard to sometimes people get frustrated because we don't do this or we don't do that. But that's just it's a game that we play, and it's not a game, but it's life. I understand that.
Yep.
Don't quote me on it. Great. I just got quoted. We'll be on CNN tomorrow.
So I want to put this question up from Ben because obviously you know
My
this is
buddy
about-
Ben.
Yeah, so I'll get that in a second here, Ben. Shoot, what was I just going to ask you? You were doing an analogy, so I was getting ready for the mute button real quick. Like, don't get us in trouble. We want to go at least 2 shows without getting in trouble for something. Boy, you know what? I can't even remember what it was now. Oh, man, come on. That's all right. So here we're going to put the question up here from Ben. My question, if cannabis was legal and treated the same as alcohol or OTC pain meds, would you try it?
Look at that. I got to go. I got to go.
Yeah. Time to go.
Yeah. Well, look at that. They need me somewhere.
Oh, I'm losing connection here.
I'm losing you. I'm in a tunnel. A good question, Ben. I don't think I would. I don't know. That's a good question. Ben's always trying to get me to jump his side of the fence on marijuana, and I'm just not there yet, Ben. But I appreciate your concern, and probably not, but so it stays in your system too long, Ben. I just don't want to be high. No, I'm just kidding. I know what you're saying, Ben.
No, I get it. Hey, I want to get to this because we're already, because I know we want to keep this a little shorter because you're in a lot of pain.
I'm not in a ton of pain.
The assembly had passed something, so it's not law yet. The governor has to still sign it, but Representative Armstrong had put out a press release about some bills about police reform that got passed. And AB 331 requires applicants for full-time police positions to undergo psychological examinations. So this, along with several other packages in this police reform thing, passed. But that one really stood out to me. I don't know because I haven't looked through all the bill text and any of the amendments or what it was in terms of current officers or deputies required to do this. I would think you kind of shouldn't be, not shouldn't, but that'd be very difficult to do. But are you on board with just specifically this part about if you are going to interview someone for a job that they are going to have to, or you're going to require that they undergo psychological examinations?
Yeah, we currently do that. So like I said, most of the things passed in that, in those bills, I think the sheriff's department here in Barron, and I think in most agencies, body cameras was one.
Yeah.
The psychological test. Anybody that gets hired with us as a patrol officer that isn't currently working for an agency where they've had one done, gets a psych test. We do psych tests for the most part. I think we don't do it for our jailers or our dispatchers, but we do drug tests, we do medical tests, and psychological tests are part of that. So don't see any issue with that at all. Won't be an issue in law enforcement.
Were there anything in those bills? I mean, it's again, it was on last week. It's on our website, driver.com. There's a whole bunch, and you can click the link to find all the bill text for each one. It was under Rep Armstrong, I don't know, votes for police reforms, I think was the headline.
Right. I don't think there was.
Was there anyone in there that you're like, what? The what?
I glanced at it and talking to Dave, about it, Representative Armstrong beforehand. I didn't see any issue with any of them. We kind of went through it a few shows back. We went through the whole thing and said, we do this already, we do this already, we do this already. It's chokeholds was in there, lots of different things. We've already changed our policy to ban them unless it's a life or death situation. Think of things like that. So I don't see anything in that police reform bill. If that's what makes people way more happier with police, I think it's great. Sign it, seal it, let's deliver it, let's put it wherever you want. Our policies are open records. Our rules are, I think we do a great job in law enforcement.
Yeah, and actually I wanted to talk to Dave last night. So I had texted him, and he was heading down to Madison, and I think he was leaving around 6 o'clock. So he had plenty of free time. And I was going to call him, but then he didn't end up leaving until I don't know, like 7:30 or 8, and that's when he messaged me, and I was already getting ready for bed. So I'm like, whatever. I'll just talk to him later. I just wanted to, get his side. And also, I was going to ask him if he had talked to you. I did not know that he talked to you about this. If you don't
Yeah,
mind, real quickly, can you kind of give us a little insight as to what that conversation was?
no, it's just, he wanted to make sure that we don't have any issues. We see each other at a lot of different events, and, whether it's this law or that law, I mean, he always says, is this going to hurt you or hurt? And Dave knows law enforcement. Dave's a huge law enforcement supporter. Dave's been a law enforcement supporter. He's been part of our law enforcement foundation for years. So Dave knows law enforcement, so he knows if it was going to affect us or not. So, just like Romaine did. Romaine knew law enforcement. He was a law enforcement supporter. He still is today. Dave is the same way. So no, it's just, do you see anything, or, that's the best part about Romaine and Dave is they're not afraid to call you and say, hey, do you see a problem with, OWI first, or OWI this, or OWI this? Or
if this was passed, what challenges would that present for you and your office type thing, right?
Or, how does this affect the jail? But no, Dave, he's got a law enforcement background. He understands it. So he's going to be able to, he's going to know those answers. So, but it's just great to have those conversations. I respect that. I think it's great that they go out and ask. And I think that's what Romaine did well, and Dave's doing great and getting out and talking to the people and getting their side of it. And again, you're not going to agree. Romaine will say, not everyone's going to agree with what you're saying, but at least he's out there asking, and, and he's, worked on both sides and worked on different things, and Dave's doing the exact same thing. So
yeah, and you and I have talked about that before. Sometimes when you just put the letter next to someone's name, an R or a D, I mean, you have a D next to your name, right? Mm-hmm. Democrat, but I think sometimes things get dismissed, and I think from both sides. I think if you're a Republican, a citizen and a Republican, you will look at words that come out of a Democrat's mouth and immediately dismiss it without stopping and looking at, okay, what are we actually talking about? Now, obviously, there's always politics, or usually there's some politics involved. That's why they call it politics and politicians. But sometimes I think slow up just a second, look at it in its entirety. Because I think there's a lot of things that I agree with Democrats on a ton of stuff. I never really know how they're going to pay for it, but I love all the ideas. But there is a lot of things from the Democratic platform that I'm like, yeah, totally. We should do this and equality. I love all this stuff. And there's things from Republicans, same thing, that I support. And there's some things, not so much. But I don't consider it based on if you have an R or a D next to your name. That's always in your mind, right? Because then you kind of know, okay, what are they trying to go for? I like to see the bigger picture. But sometimes, man, just look at it matter-of-factly as is, and is this going to better our community or not? It's pretty simple.
Little things make a big difference.
Little things make a big difference. Fitzy, anything else going on that you want to talk about?
Hey, I won't be running in the donut dash, obviously, with my leg and arm, but we've extended our shirt deadline. So we want to get some more runners for our donut dash. Donuts in the middle, donuts in the beginning. It's July 17th. It's Saturday of the fair. Get a free pass to go to the fair that day. Get a T-shirt. Says I will run for donuts. You support law enforcement in the area. A big shout out. So register by July 5th to get your T-shirt. A big shout out to Rusk County and Barron County SWAT team. They had a fundraiser, Pork in the Park. So your favorite name. That was a huge fundraiser. Thanks for everybody that came out to that.
Sweet.
Jody Riley Cummett, the Rusk County guys did an unbelievable job. A big thank you out to them. Members of our team. The team stepped up and raised, and the citizens came out and raised a ton of money for our SWAT team to buy some new equipment. So that was great. So lots of great things in law enforcement happening. Summer's here. 4th of July is coming up. I think right now we're planning on doing a show next week. We'll talk a lot about the 4th of July, fireworks, boating safety. We're going to put a thing up. Care 11, if you remember last year on the 4th of July, a lady was riding in the front of the boat. They hit a wave. She went under. The prop cut her leg up. Yep. We're going to re-show that video. Care 11 did a neat story on that incident from Tech Chain of Lakes. We're going to remind people about that next week. So we're preparing for a very busy weekend. Next weekend, not this weekend.
Yeah, I just had to look up. I didn't know what day the July 4th was. Not date. I know that one.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So, and then 2 weeks later, we'll be at the fair. That's my favorite time of the year, and hopefully I'll be
Able.
walking with a sling, and I'll be able to be there. And
Yeah.
if not, I'll hire somebody to bring me food, so fair food, so I'll be okay.
And on
But
a side note, hopefully, I want to know: are you getting kind of roasted or ribbed from any of your deputies for falling? Because when I had called you the morning after that situation happened, when that incident where you got injured, it was like a 4-minute conversation. It's normal. This is my job. I asked just basic, or you just kind of explain things. I just take notes, and then when I'm finished, I put it into an article form. And you had said that you had man, I fell. So I was writing this, and I'm like, fell. Oh, that doesn't look good. So I was chasing, and I just fell. So I'm like Google finding synonyms for fell. Like there's got to be something that's more positive than just fell. And I couldn't find it. I'm like, well, and that is what he said. I don't want to put words in his mouth. And like 95% of the people were, obviously very wishing you, giving well wishes, but there were, a couple which I thought were funny about just falling.
right.
Yeah.
But you don't need enemies when you got great friends to help you.
So I just want you to know, I was trying to find a different word. I just didn't know what else to use.
No, it's funny when you're okay and you're
Yeah.
gonna heal. It's okay to have a little fun with it. We do on this show all the time. Tumble gracefully. I love it.
Oh, see, where were you, Peg? I could have used you a week and a half
You're
ago.
writer for Dryden Wire. So
I'm just trying to imagine like me putting that in the article, and then Sheriff
Tumbled
tumbled
gracefully.
graceful.
I did a cool somersault move, or at least I think I did, but I didn't hit my head, and I didn't. This elbow hurts worse than my leg right now, and it's all healing. So, and again, it'll be fun, and we'll have a little fun with it. And
I'm glad you're okay. We're all glad that you're okay, and all law enforcement's okay. But yeah, seriously, that's scary stuff, man. Because you never know. I mean, you were going to Aquafest, and then you see this, and it just all kind of transpired, and then you get out, you run. You're never thinking when you get out, oh boy, I could fracture my arm and rip my hamstring. You just don't think about that stuff.
Right, and then you don't think about the 1,000 people that drove by me as I'm in this ambulance. I'm like, I better call my wife because it's probably on Facebook already, And you never want to go, hey, I was going to Aquafest, but now I'm going to the ER. You don't really ever want to make that call to your wife and your kids.
Yeah.
And so it's just, again, I was fine. It hurt pretty good, but it's getting a lot better.
Well, I'm glad you're all right, man. I mean, any of these situations that law enforcement goes into, it could be the last one. And that's why I don't understand why you guys do this job. I don't. I mean, we talk a lot about, teachers should get paid more and our schools should be palaces, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But the overwhelming majority of time, you don't walk into a classroom or go to work and there's a chance you may not come home. Obviously, there's some horrible situations but those are just so far out and rare. I just don't understand what it is with cops that makes you want to do this, because I don't get it. I just don't. I can't imagine going to work every day thinking, well, giving my wife a kiss before I leave, and this could be it. I'm sure you don't actually say that in the morning, but man, it's just knowing in the back of your head, any situation could be done.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with you guys, but thank you for doing it.
We appreciate it, and we couldn't do it without the support of you guys out there, and so that's why we do it, to keep everyone safe. We're just a member of the community, just like all of you guys, and so we'll keep doing our job. You keep supporting us, and we'll work together to make it a better place. So go out and do something great today.
That's right. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by ICAA. ICAA is your local social service organization that works together with individuals, families, and the community to create and support local solutions for local needs. For a full list of services, find them on Facebook or check them out on their website at indianheadcaa.org. I will see you back here on Thursday morning for another Politically Speaking show with Adam Jarkow and Patty Schochner. Fitzy, until next week, and to all of you, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay positive, and as always, have a blessed day.